if you give me the next 15 minutes. I'll share a daily habit that sharpens your brain, increases your focus, and gives you a genuine competitive edge. Not motivation, not hustle, control. Here's the twist. It's not about working harder. It's about training your brain before the world touches it. Most ambitious people get this wrong. I'll explain why in a minute. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do tomorrow morning, why it works, and how it compounds over time. Here's the big idea. He who controls the first 20 minutes controls the brain. And he who controls the brain controls the outcome. That's it. This is the type of mental routine many high performers rely on. And it's simpler than you think. But first, an uncomfortable truth. You're not tired, you're overstimulated. You don't lack ambition, you lack intentional priming. There's a difference. Right now in America, distraction is normal. Notifications, news, messages, noise. While most people wake up and react, a small group wakes up and trains. That gap compounds. If you're serious about building a disciplined mind, comment EDGE right now. Because this isn't for everyone, it's for people who are done being reactive. Let me show you the system. I call it the 20-minute mental edge. 4 steps, simple, repeatable, start tomorrow. Step 1, activate. 5 minutes, that's the standard. No excuses. Before you think, before you plan, before you touch your phone, you move. Push-ups, squats, fast stairs, jump rope. Intensity over elegance. Why? Because physiology leads, psychology follows. If your body stays slow, your brain stays slow. That's not opinion, that's a pattern. Most people wake up and scroll. They go from unconscious to consuming. Zero activation, zero command. And they wonder why they feel behind by 10 a.m. You don't rise into focus, you trigger it. Breathe deeper, blood moving. Now your brain gets the message. We are not drifting today, we are driving. Small shift, massive edge. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If the first thing your brain receives is stimulation, you train it to crave stimulation. If the first thing it receives is effort, you train it to generate power. That's the fork in the road. And it happens in 5 minutes. You are not tired in the morning. You are inactivated. There's a difference. Activation increases oxygen delivery to the part of your brain responsible for decisions. Focus rises. Impulse control strengthens. Reaction time sharpens. You feel alert, not because of caffeine, because of the command. And command builds confidence. Think about tomorrow morning. Alarm goes off. You sit up immediately. No snooze. Feet on the floor. You move. 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 30 seconds fast. Breathing heavy. Eyes awake. Posture strong. That's not fitness. That's dominance over hesitation. Most people negotiate with their alarm. High performers execute. No debate. No delay. Action first, feeling second. That's the rule. And here's what makes this powerful. You stack an early win. Before the world asks anything from you, you've already won once. Momentum loves early victories. Win the first 5 minutes, and the next hour bends more easily. Lose the first 5 minutes, and you spend the day catching up. Let me be direct. If you can't command your body for 5 minutes, how will you command your focus for 5 hours? Activation is proof. Proof that you act without waiting for motivation. Proof that you don't stall. Proof that you lead yourself, and identity follows evidence. 5 minutes daily says, I move when I decide. That belief compounds. Pressure turns into power. Fog turns into clarity. Drift turns into direction. Activate. Then build. Step 2, breathe and reset. 3 minutes. That's all. Slow inhale, controlled exhale, longer exhale than inhale. Simple. But powerful. This is where pressure turns into precision. Because here's what most people don't notice. They wake up and immediately spike stress. Thoughts rush in. Messages, expectations. The nervous system goes on alert before the day even begins. And once stress takes the wheel, clarity drops. Breathing resets the wheel. When your exhale is longer than your inhale, your body shifts out of the fight or flight response. Heart rate steadies. Muscles soften. Your mind sharpens. You're not trying to relax, you're trying to regulate. There's a difference. Relax can be passive. Regulated is controlled. Control is the goal. 3 minutes of intentional breathing trains your system to respond instead of react. It creates space between stimulus and decision. And in that space lives power. Most people never build that space. They jump from alert to action without control. That's why small problems feel big. That's why interruptions derail momentum. This step fixes that. Sit upright. Inhale through your nose for 4. Exhale slowly for 6. Feel the exhale empty completely. Again, and again, and again. Your thoughts will try to wander. That's normal. Return to the breath. Each return strengthens focus. Each controlled exhale reinforces authority over your state. You're telling your body, we are steady. And steadiness compounds. Here's the deeper layer. When your breathing is shallow, your thinking is shallow. When your breathing is controlled, your thinking slows down just enough to become deliberate. That's the shift. From scattered to strategic. Imagine tomorrow morning, you've activated your body. Your heart rate has risen. Now you sit still, breathing deep, heart steady, mind clearing, energy contained, not frantic, focused. That contrast matters. Activation gives you energy. Without this step, energy becomes agitation. With it, energy becomes precision. This is where disciplined minds separate from distracted culture. Anyone can move fast. Few can slow their system on command. That's control. And control builds confidence. Because when pressure hits later in the day, your body remembers this state. Calm under tension. Measured under demand. 3 minutes. That's the investment. Small, quiet, invisible to everyone else, but powerful to you. Breathe. Reset. Then move with intention. Step 3, write the 3. 5 minutes, 1 page, no apps, no complexity, pen, paper, precision. This is where intention becomes execution, because clarity is power. And most people start their day without it. They react to emails. They chase messages. They respond to urgency. They confuse motion with progress. That's the trap. Write the 3 eliminates the trap. You answer 3 questions. What truly matters today? What are the 3 highest impact actions? What distraction will I refuse? That's it. Not 10 goals, not a brain dump. 3. Why 3? Because the brain respects constraints. Too many targets create hesitation. 3 creates focus. 3 forces prioritization, and prioritization creates leverage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If everything feels important, you haven't decided. And undecided minds drift. Disciplined minds decide early. Most people build a to-do list. High performers build a win condition. That's different. A to-do list is endless. A win condition is defined. When you complete your 3, the day counts. Even if chaos hits, even if meetings expand, even if surprises show up. You already know what matters. That certainty reduces stress. Stress often comes from ambiguity. Ambiguity disappears with precision. Let's go deeper. Your 3 must be impact-based, not easy tasks, not busy work, not low-resistance wins. Impact. The action that moves revenue. The action that builds skill. The action that creates long-term leverage. If it doesn't move the needle, it doesn't make the 3. This is where most people get it wrong. They choose comfortable tasks. They clear inboxes. They organize files. They rearrange priorities. But nothing shifts. That's false progress. Write the 3 protects you from that illusion. It forces honesty, and honesty builds strength. Now the third question. What distraction will I refuse? This is critical, because distraction doesn't ask permission. It arrives disguised as importance. You must pre-decide your boundary. No social media before noon. No checking email before finishing task 1. No reactive calls during deep work. Choose one, name it, commit. When you pre-decide resistance, temptation weakens, because willpower fades. But decisions made in advance hold. Picture tomorrow. You've activated, you've breathed, now you sit down, blank page. You write 1, finish proposal. 2, call the top client. 3, outline the next project. Then beneath it, no scrolling before noon. That's clarity. That's the direction. That's leadership over your own time. Here's the identity shift. You are no longer hoping the day goes well. You are defining what well means. That's power. 5 minutes of writing prevents 10 hours of drifting. And drifting is expensive. Every day you don't define your priorities, someone else will. Your boss. Your inbox. The algorithm, write the 3, puts you back in command. Simple, repeatable, non-negotiable, because a focused brain performs differently from a scattered one, and performance compounds. Write the 3, then execute with intention. Step 4, mental rehearsal. 7 minutes. Eyes closed, back straight, breathing steady. Now you see the day before it happens, not vaguely, specifically. You run the move in advance. You see yourself completing your 3. You see the first task. Where are you? What time is it? How do you begin? You don't wait for motivation. You initiate. Then the second task. You see the conversation, the tone, the posture, calm, direct, clear. Then the third, focused work, no drift, no distraction. You are rehearsing execution. This is not daydreaming. The brain does not fully separate imagined reps from real reps. When you mentally practice a behavior, you reduce friction when it's time to perform. Friction is the enemy. Most people fail not from lack of intelligence, but from hesitation. Mental rehearsal reduces hesitation because the moment feels familiar, and familiarity builds confidence. Here's where most people stop too early. They only visualize success. That's incomplete. You must also visualize resistance, see the interruption, the unexpected email, the urge to check your phone. Now see yourself handling it calmly, closing the tab, returning to the task, steady. That's power. Because pressure doesn't disappear. You prepare for it, and preparation changes the response. Athletes rehearse plays before game time. Executives rehearse key conversations before walking into the room. Disciplined minds rehearse their day before it begins. That's the separator. Imagine tomorrow. It's 2003 p.m. Energy dips. Normally you drift, but you've already seen this moment in your mind. You stand up. Reset posture. Return to your priority. You execute. That's not luck. That's preloaded intention. Here's the deeper layer. Mental rehearsal strengthens identity. Each time you see yourself acting with focus, you reinforce. This is who I am. Identity drives behavior more than goals do. If you see yourself as disciplined, you behave differently. If you see yourself as reactive, you fulfill that script instead. Rehearsal rewrites the script. 7 quiet minutes, invisible to the world, but powerful internally. You are installing the day before the day begins. So when the moment arrives, you don't debate, you act. And here's the edge. When others are surprised by pressure, you're prepared for it. When others hesitate, you move. When others react emotionally, you stay measured. That gap compounds. Mental rehearsal is not hype. It's precision training. See it, feel it, execute it, then open your eyes. The day hasn't started yet, but you already have control. You think someone like Elon Musk walks into high-stakes meetings without mental clarity? Do you think someone like Warren Buffett makes billion-dollar decisions in a reactive mode? No. Clarity first. Action second. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you wake up and consume before you create, you've already surrendered the edge. Let that land. This is the cost of inaction. Every reactive morning builds reactive identity. Every disciplined morning builds strategic identity, and identity compounds. Right now, ask yourself, do I control my mornings or do they control me? Be honest. That answer predicts trajectory. Mid-video reset. Up to now, this sounds like a productivity trick. It's not. It's neurological positioning. The first 20 minutes set the tone for your dopamine levels. If your brain gets cheap stimulation early, it craves more all day. If it earns stimulation through activation and clarity, it stays stable. Distraction equals chaos. Activation equals control. This is the daily habit billionaires use to boost their brains, not magic. Mechanism. Picture this. It's 6:30 a.m. You've activated your body. You've regulated your breath. You've written your 3. You've rehearsed success. Now the world can knock, but you're already positioned. That's micro-visualization too. Here's something most people get wrong. They think the edge comes from information, podcasts, news, market updates. No, the edge comes from the internal state. Information multiplies the state. If your state is scattered, information amplifies noise. If your state is focused, information amplifies precision. Write that down. State before strategy. Replay-worthy line 1. Another one, discipline in the first 20 minutes creates dominance in the next 10 hours. Replay-worthy line 2. And this, reactive mornings create reactive lives. Replay-worthy line 3. If someone you know complains about being busy but never focused, send them this. They need it. This isn't complicated. It's consistent. 20 minutes every morning. Activate, breathe, write the 3, rehearse. You now know exactly what to do tomorrow. No guesswork, no overwhelm, just structure. Over 30 days, these compounds. Focus increases. Decision fatigue drops. Emotional volatility shrinks. You start noticing something powerful. You're calmer under pressure. Competitive, sharp. While distracted culture drifts, you direct. And here's the identity shift. You're no longer trying to be successful. You're training your brain daily. That's different. This is the 30-day challenge. For the next 30 mornings, no phone for 20 minutes. Run the 20-minute mental edge. Track clarity. Track execution. Track emotional control. Comment disciplined if you're committing. Because this is what disciplined minds do. He who controls the first 20 minutes controls the brain. And he who controls the brain controls the outcome. It was never about time. It was about control. Start tomorrow. Quietly. Consistently. Win the mind. The rest follows. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, my friends, because the next video will be more powerful.